Peace, peace, peace. Woo. A little blacked out message for my beautiful supporters, my beautiful people, inside and out. Gratitude to you all. Gratitude to Source, the Creator, the Most High, whatever you have a power beyond it is. I know this ain't gonna be a long message, but let's give our honor to our ancestors known and unknown. Shout out to you, who all that made it to this video. Yeah. Just reflecting on a lot right now. Reflecting. Trying to see how I'm gonna go into this one. Let me first and foremost say that wherever you are on your journey, prioritize your well-being. Prioritize you, your emotional well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being, physical well-being. I just gotta be authentic with y'all. Listen, I know you love that person, but if that person, that individual, that spouse, that significant other isn't in a space of knowing how to hold space for themselves, then I like, in a healthy way, then you, my love, my brother, my sisters, look, they will not know how to do it for you. I always tell y'all that we have grown up in a society that has not given us a blueprint of anything that prioritizes our well-being as men, as women. And when our women don't know the importance of this, it just trickles down to our sons who become men. It's trickled down to our daughters who become women. This is why you hear the term crashing out, because a lot of people going through like mental, illness or psychosis, or just, some may use the term midlife crisis, where I have to, reprogram my mind to see it as a transition. But it can very much seem that way. And so much of my generation, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s, I'm sitting back and observing this age group and this generation, and it just concerns me, and from a place of just empathy, because our generation, a lot of us were taught to, this work hard mentality, and I even see it in some of the younger people that are like the 25 to 30s and whatever. And in all honesty, when we look at how things are transpiring and evolving, that age group, these early 20s, late 20s or whatever, they're looking to and towards people as like us. And then the people that are mid 30s, early 30s, whatever, we're actually looking at the people that are early 40s and 50s. It's almost like everyone is looking, or, trying to find this elder, or this not even just elder, but more so this almost like a support system. And what's so even more so, I need some chapstick, good Lord. What's even more concerning, or just about everything, is how we don't even realize how much we've been in a society that's just like a not free for all, or so self-centered, in a way of like so selfish that a lot of these elders have given us this false idea of this hard work mentality for a world that doesn't exist, and as stressful and as confusing that may be. I'm literally looking at a lot of them give off this idea of this this illusion or fantasy where they never had a blueprint of prioritizing their well-being. And it's literally like, it can be very challenging, because the reason I always been telling y'all, like, it was just something foreseen or just put into my essence, that mental health and, which ties into your physical well-being, all these things are going to be highlighted. Your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. That's why I bring y'all these messages, because I live it. I experience it. I'm doing my best to even get through it, because I realize how even selfish it may seem to other people who aren't aware of the fact of how important it is, especially as a man, and for everybody, but especially as a man, to prioritize yourself, your well-being, how you show up for yourself. And then this is a big one too, bro, I cannot stress it. Now, I don't even like to say the word stress, because I don't want y'all to know. This is a huge thing for me. It's like, when I reflect and see who I've been around and what I had to grow out of and what I had to grow through, and realize that the importance of even having a healthy fucking support system. Did y'all hear what I said? A healthy support system. Some of us don't even know what that looks like. In these last few years, that's been a priority for me. I'm talking about through the blood, sweat, and tears, things that y'all do not see. Even though you see certain things that I'm posting, whether it's my book, people don't know the backstory to none of that. And some things I've shared, and I'm not asking sympathy. It's a lot of things I share from the depths of who I am and what I'm experiencing, to bring, to enlighten and bring more awareness to how vital it is for us to know the importance of our unconscious patterns, our subconscious patterns, behaviors, unconscious behaviors, and then consciously becoming aware of what we're doing, having more self-awareness, especially as men. I'm speaking from a man perspective, but I also come on here to also hold our women accountable, because the more I get to know me more, and the more I get to navigate these emotions, these shadow parts of myself, these things that you would have told me 30 plus years ago, I would have never thought I would be speaking like on a platform like this. But it's even more exciting to get prepared to even, venture off and speak to the nations and speak to hundreds and thousands of millions of people, which is no difference in this platform. But the awareness in, truly, y'all, it's so important to have a support system. Because when you look at all what's going on, I literally see the panic behind people's eyes. I see the panic behind and the fear behind these 40, 50, year old people, 60, not to mention their generation, who have, some people 70, have no idea what's going on. And I literally have these conversations like with some of these elders, and I'm like, would you ever thought you would have seen someone come up and scan a phone and pay for some food or pay for something? They're in total disbelief. I can only imagine what's going through their mind, the fear and so forth. And some of them, having to live through this and then having to adjust. That's why I had to learn the compassion and grace. That's why I come on here, because again, even to those that some of the young men that I talk to that are teenagers, or even, so forth, it's a variety. Like, I don't know what type of word I was about to say. I was trying to put category and variety together, but there's a huge expansion, or what's the word I'm looking for? I like to use my own terms and slangs, but generation that, in a way, it's not so much dependent on us, but are reliant in a way. Like, there is accountability to whom is given, much is required. So the beauty of that is, like, I'm having an opportunity presently in my journey to be able to have, little ones, a partner who actually is going through things, and or friends and people who are actually when I look at their age and their generation, it's a whole different perspective. A lot of young men who have no type of guidance, who we don't know the vices and everything that they're going through at home. So when I really put pressure on this mental health shit, it is not a game, bro. I'm telling you, like, some things I have to realize and tell myself, I am a miracle. Well, you have to realize, like, I want you to tell yourself, for all of you out there, you are a miracle. When you're talking about being a generational curse breaker, when you're just talking about how things have followed you, and, we're told that we're literally, the belief system that we're given is from people, again, in all honesty, it's not to say they haven't accomplished things, but deep down inside, this is not blueprints that come from emotional intelligence. These are not blueprints that comes from integrity and authenticity. Like I said in my previous video, these have been trauma bonds. That's what generational curse is. These have been trauma bonds, energetically coming through our mothers and fathers who had, dealt with, some may use the term PTSD, people who have been in the military, people who have been, in traumatic experiences and so forth. Like, we're forgetting about that. These people were not at their best when they did have a lot of us. Things that they never talked about, discussed, never expressed, going through so much emotional turmoil, and never, as men, and women, but, you see a lot of men in the workplace that never talk about it. Never. And so now, I see a lot of young men, or even people my age, they're young, 30, 35s and stuff. Like, that's young. And I can see how people are internally holding on to stuff, and, they look, I can't really say what 50 and 60 look like, but they look much older because they're carrying so much of a load, mentally, emotionally, and so forth. And as I've spoken before, not having a true support system all across the board. I've had to literally, over the last few years, weed so many people out of my life, even the ones, when we use the term closest, I don't care if they were family, because of the lifestyle, because of how they, it was literally trauma bonds. Every time you talk to them, there's never nothing great to say. There's never nothing empowering. There's never nothing insightful or inspiring. That shit became emotionally draining. I've talked about how before, as a man who has become in tune and become more aware and become more self-aware of his behaviors, how my life came to be, how and why certain things aren't progressing, how I could have fooled myself, or try to literally be around people who were trying to fool me, or even fooling themselves in believing that they were progressing or prospering. That's what support system is all about, especially for us who have kids, who you're surrounded by, the importance of how they talk to themselves. What are their thoughts? How do they speak about themselves? How do they speak to their kids? And I'm not saying this is about being perfect, because truthfully, honestly, I was telling myself today, and I was telling someone, I said, man, the most dangerous person is a person who's unconscious of their behavior patterns. I'm going to say that again. Some of the most dangerous people are people who are unconscious of, unaware of their behavior patterns that affects others. Meaning that, you have people who've been cycling, literally have a belief system that they don't even see their self-sabotaging, or they've been self-sacrificing their own well-being for the other well-being of others, literally sacrificing their emotional, spiritual, physical, mental well-being to literally seek out this acceptance and validation in other people. That is mentally disturbing. People are so dissociated from feeling and being present and acknowledging and not even able to see their actions, because that's how deep the programming has been for a lot of our elders and or people. And it's even more challenging when you have to accept that you cannot change them. You have to literally be the guiding light. And then that so many people can feel like you are, which is true opposition, which, you are, you can be very attacked, and people will try to manipulate you and believing that you shouldn't be yourself. When that's the greatest thing you can ever be, is you. And consistently evolving. Because the healing journey is a lifelong journey. I expressed to someone, someone was like, someone asked me something like, do you ever feel like someone can love you, like you? What did they say? Do you ever feel like someone can love you as much as you love yourself? And honestly, where I feel like I'm at in my journey, no. Because truthfully, I feel like no one would love me more than I love myself. Now, it would be in a healthy way to where I realize you can be in a partnership or be in a connection where this person is also aware of how important it is to love themselves. So there's no expectancy there or let's say like there's no attachment there, that this person has to do things a certain way, be a certain way, or try to mold and shape them into, or manipulating them into, loving you or love bombing or getting, things like that, which is a trauma bond again. So this authentic aspect of that is like realizing that, I was having a great discussion earlier with someone. Like I was saying, like when you look at kids, they're the most authentic and purest when they're young like that. And that's the authentic love that a lot of us are trying to recover. Is that, I said my perspective on this, is from how I see like certain relationships or whatever it is. I said, honestly, I was saying to someone who was, a lady, I said, honestly, women or, ladies are just looking for I said, I feel like they're just really not saying you're looking, but they're desiring someone who really they just want to have fun with. But fun isn't the same as what, has been portrayed into the world. But what I mean is like someone that you can mesh with, like your inner child. Like, you ever been around someone or, for a lot of you that probably aren't aware that you really don't know what fun is, or the innocence where you can really be innocent and playful and joyful. It's like two little kids playing and enjoying themselves, not outside of the responsibility of like, not getting so consumed into adulthood. But I was expressing to them, I was like, there's been a lot of confusion when you see the displacement where we don't even realize how deep trauma bond is when you're asking of someone to basically put their well-being aside, their emotional well-being, physical well-being, so forth, and you're asking them to sacrifice parts of themselves to make you happy. Like, what? And then we unconsciously replay this right through our kids. If you don't do this, then I won't be happy. If you don't do this way. And I was sitting here like mind blown with this awareness on how we don't even realize how unconsciously we have literally created more generations of trauma bonding, not authentic connections. Because truthfully, a lot of these elders they don't even know what an authentic love is. Because some of them are consumed by religion. Some of them are consumed by their own ego, their wounded ego, or even their own belief systems that truthfully doesn't reflect any type of core values of authenticity or any type of core values of honesty or foundations built upon things that are solid. So that amazes me when I see people, or I've been observing, and I can immediately pick up on like the unsafety or just how my inner child won't even feel like I use the term inner child because once we start to recognize like how much we are unlearning and healing ourselves from certain behavior patterns or certain things unconsciously we've been doing due to our subconscious programs and fears, you'll be able to literally energetically recognize people who are not safe. It's almost like safe to play with. And what I mean by that, it's like where your inner child, you can mesh with each other. It's like, okay, we're in these adult bodies, or we grown, but how many people you can just go and you can just simply enjoy their presence? It's almost like, you have that best friend or friend where no matter how far you went, no matter what you do, when you reconnect, it's almost like two little boys and girls, like grown up in these bodies, and it's like you didn't miss a beat. That's authenticity. That one person that you can simply be all of you around. So this is the thing that I feel like a lot of us are recovering. When I look at these superficial relationships, when I look at how a lot of these relationships or a lot of these things, I've talked about this in my previous video, and this is why like the mental health awareness thing is so big, is that who do you really have around you that is supporting you in, you facing or, really encouraging you to step into your power, to step into your authenticity, to be who you are, whatever career settings, whatever environments or demographics. Because when I reflect back and I realize, like, the reason why a lot of these connections and relationships do not stand the test of time or longevity is because they're not centered around real, true core values. And some of us, it's not our faults, it's just the belief systems that we grew up in that are not centered around authenticity, where you can have open dialogue, where you feel emotionally safe, where you feel secure within yourself. So again, we are, you in a relationship with someone, and truthfully, you've been with someone who, they have superficial things and all these material things, but deep down, can the little girl, let's say you have unresolved traumas and the little boy have unresolved traumas, you're literally mirroring this back with each other. And if it's not a healthy relationship with yourself, you're literally mirroring back your childhood experiences or childhood traumas. You're reenacting it. And that's from experiencing itself. And this has led me to more of an authentic love for myself, meaning that I'm able now to hold space for all of me. And so when I realized why this relationship, or when people are in relationships and then you maybe have kids by someone, or you're in this marriage or something, but truthfully, you'll start to recognize that that support system reflects your support system within yourself. Is that support system within yourself healthy? And what does that look like? What does that feel like? For you first. And then you won't question and wonder why that relationship, this connection, you will see that was more of an attachment. You will realize why that person had that selfish and unhealthy attachment to you. Because it was rooted in something that was inauthentic. I always try to say that word so confidently, and I'm like, I got it. But yeah. And this is why I've learned how important it is, no matter who I'm in connection with, the importance of like recognizing how I've, trauma bonded for so years unconsciously, till I became aware that how much it was sabotaging my life and people around me, because it was reflecting and mirroring back to me the same thing that these people had, that was ugly inside of them. And so the beauty and an awareness now is that I'm able to realize, like, it's an amazing experience to have a more authentic love for yourself, because you will hold space for all the versions of you. The versions of you where you didn't at one time wanted to have grace for, but you're now able to have compassion and grace and empathy for that version of yourself where you did not have awareness or control whether it be in your childhood, teenage years, and so forth, that led you to wherever you are now, no matter what your age is. This is why I tell y'all, man, a support system, and then the systems that have been in place that I've talked about when it comes to mental health, when it comes to people that I've spoke to. I've said before about how, what is their targeted audience when you do go to therapy? Okay, is this leading me to a place where I can really find peace, or is this therapist literally in this position where they're just paid to do this so I can keep returning? Is there a loop? Can I find a loophole in this shit? Because a lot of these systems are in place that are crumbling, that y'all gonna see, no matter what is represented by. Because if there's nothing representing authenticity or authentic love in these systems, then I'm just gonna be fucking blatantly honest. Then you are literally not going to find a solution, peace, harmony, and truth in systems and careers and things that do not have a foundation that reflects a true, authentic support system that literally holds space for all of you, meaning all of the versions of you. And I realize this is why I share my message. I realize this is why I'm called to do this shit. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes I don't even want to do it, but I feel so amazing behind it. That's how you know what you're doing is meant for you. Because it's more than just a feeling. It's like a euphoria. It's like ecstasy. It's like, man, there's nothing. You cannot put a price on authenticity. There's no amount of money that will make me sell myself out. And it ain't got nothing to do with for a corporation or nothing externally. I mean, sell myself short, or to give up my morals and my principles for the belief system that I realize reflects a truth that only I can be rooted in, that nothing or no one, no monetary system, no belief system, no religion, no one, no woman, man can come and say that I should have to question what it is that I stand on. Because I can recognize through different versions of people that, whoa, I can see different perspectives. I can really feel the fact of, like, we literally have been programmed to be around people all the days of our lives without a sense of awareness of self, seclusion, so that we can really see what the fuck is going on with me. What is malfunctioning within me? What do I need to see within myself so that I can be able to acknowledge these things, so that I can learn what it is to be responsible for myself, to love myself? What is it? And that's been the greatest lesson that I've learned on my growth, on my, people will, you will hear these things about, like, it's lonely at the top. It's not about it being lonely, baby. It ain't. That's far from it. It ain't about it being lonely or anything. You will just be aware that you will come into more of a deeper aspect of yourself that is unfamiliar to the dysfunction of family dynamics, of systems, of corporations and business that do not reflect what you are walking into, what you have in the past been uprooted from, so you can be replanted, so you can outgrow these business, corporations, families, and so forth. That doesn't mean that they won't be able to see you. What you have to recognize is that support system reflects who waters you. I had to learn that I was watering everybody at times in my life where the divine was like, hey, don't forget you are the garden. You deserve to be watered too. And that was some of the most scariest things, because I was so used to unhealthy, dysfunctional support system that was literally a blueprint that I was given in my childhood, that I didn't even recognize what a healthy support system looked like. A healthy version of myself. Healthy versions of myself. Honest versions of myself. Integrity. Truth. Parts of myself that I could no longer ignore, because it literally brought up and literally like showed me the parts and people and places that did not reflect a healthy support system, a balanced support system, a secure support system. That shit is so challenging, because you will recognize this in family and people and spouses and in your kids and so forth. If you don't see it within yourself, that you will be realizing that what type of energy support system have I been, distributing? What have I been fueling? What have I been enabling? What do I need to disable? What do I need to close the door on? And one of the most greatest things I realized is that I had to see it. I had to be the person that look in the mirror at the end of the day. I had to see my reflection when I look in that water. I had to be the one to see my emotions. I had to be the one to recognize, like, bro, it's you. How are you angry? We have so much anger towards the systems that have been in place, but this is what the awakening is about. You awakening to you. You wake up from your slumber. Those of you that are in your generations, in your lineage, that are not meant to do anything like your mother and father. Even if you have for years, sometimes your awakening comes to after years of doing the same shit, and you be like, bro, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? The questioning, the walking away from the positions, the jobs, whatever it is. Because you'll see the value in, like, what really is a support system from the divine, from your ancestors that want to support you for the highest good of you and all involved. Because you were elected, selected, anointed, chosen. When you choose to do what is opposing a system that was never put in place for you to find inner peace, balance, harmony, that kept you in a loop, almost like a curse of looping through the same shit that you know that mama and daddy, great grandma and so forth for generations, who literally try to persuade you and manipulate you, and the powers that used to be manipulate you into believing that this is all there is. So deal with it. Or else. That fear-mongering, like, or else there will be consequences. Yeah, there are consequences, but there also are fucking rewards. And I'm living proof. I've always said that. There is no amount of money that you can put on inner peace or harmony. Well, I realized that I was faced with adversity just so I can get to a place to realize, like, oh, I see why you removed me from that gratitude, because that person or people or environment, not only wasn't the energy wasn't centered around peace or harmony, it was the energy of the people who did not want to let go of a mentality. They believed that they were stuck in a reality, in a mindset, almost like Stockholm Syndrome. Research that. Poverty mindset. They do not believe that paradise is within. They do not believe or have faith within themselves that they can walk away without said finances, people, money, and so forth, or whatever. And literally don't see the value in going within themselves and finding something, the treasure within. They don't see the beauty in how less is more when you're on this journey. When you will be asked to let go, to be stripped spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically of all the old world narratives, all the old habits. Everybody not ready for that. Everybody not ready for that, bruh. Because then you'll be able to recognize it so good when you go and return to certain places. It's not to say people haven't changed, but they're not ready to be a whole. They're not ready to be, it's almost like they're ready to hold on to that change, literally, figuratively speaking, like change. They're not ready to try to calculate their life into being a whole dollar. You know, I was just trying to come up with something corny and funny, but hey, they're not ready. They're still trying to, what is that saying goes, dang, what is it? Try to make $1 out of 15 cents or something like that. You literally have people that will still cycle in literally their trauma, or they won't come out of that lower state or that lower frequency and believe that they can rise into something within themselves that's greater than their circumstances, bruh. It's that deep. It's that deep. Everybody's not ready for that. That's why I say the support system. You have to realize, what is your internal support system? What does that reflect? What does that look like, feel like? And then when you recognize that, you'll be able to see who doesn't reflect what you are striving for, what you are thriving for, what you're already thriving, but what you aspire to become and be. That will come with devices. That will come with people, you know, that will assume that you change. So what? That will come with so many things. So what? So what they don't like you? So what they don't want to support you? So what? That's been one of the most challenging things. So what? Because once I realized that the faith and the integrity that I had to have, I started to realize like the abundance mindset, the abundance I already had reflected like something that I didn't even, at a time, I didn't even think I was worthy of. The value that I realized, belief systems that reflected people who value were just simply in money or in earthly things or in just so much of just things that didn't have substance, things that did not, and you know, spiritually they were poor. They didn't see the abundance in just simply being, and how all this shit is an illusion, how all this stuff will just come and go. So again, a support system that literally reflects integrity, that literally reflects something that, how you can literally mesh with people with your inner child, like literally have fun for no reason, without judgment. And when you sit back and you realize how a lot of these support systems that people have, their belief systems, man, you'll realize it's not rooted in nothing that is literally of joy, of happiness, of bliss, or even just something like being themselves. So again, one of the greatest things I realized is how walking this journey is that I had to be stripped of things that, again, that did not reflect what I knew I was coming into. It's really that simple. And I had to feel sad, I had to grieve, but I knew that at the end of the day, in the beginning of each day, that I was a better me. And I had to learn that I had to be a better me. But I realized I was around people that did not know what it was or did not want to. They didn't feel they needed to be better for themselves. A want and need is not the same. They didn't feel they needed to be better for them. Like I said, everyone has their vices. I don't care if they smoke, drink, whatever they do, gamble, I don't care. But it's a thing where it's important to have a support system around you that is encouraging you to be a better you, and to encourage you to face those very uncomfortable things. People who support you, women, especially women that are supporting you your behavior, like holding you accountable for your behavior and seeing how it reflects you. You got people really pissed off because you don't want to be around or in certain things. And we know this very well when it's dysfunctional family or people. And truthfully, we know that it's not personal, it's vibrational, but to them it's personal. And this is where the jealousy and envy or certain things spiritually that they're fighting with has nothing to do with you. Is that person or people around you, does that community, that country, that environment? When I look at it on all levels, there's a lot of things that's pushed me literally into my purpose, and I have no fear. Is it scary? Yes, but fear? No. It's even more fucking exciting now that I realize, like, yo, my journey is never in vain. Because every day I'm shown, like, okay, you walk this path, and I'm going to show you, like, okay, you became the garden now. Remember, you planted the seeds. Now you are this garden. Allow things to water you as well. You reap what you sown. And however that is, it's not always going to be perfect, but let me show you. It is worth it. And you don't have to feel guilty and ashamed, because once you know that what you've done has been through authenticity and integrity, no one can threaten your empire or what you built that's been solid. So fuck them. Please. I wish would try to think they finna come and think like, and people know. That's why some people know. People will know. And I ain't trying to tell people should live in regret, but it is a missed opportunity when you know that you've been honest. I'm not saying you've been perfect. I'm saying you've been honest. And even if, you did have shortcomings and you had to right your wrongs per se or whatever, hey, at least you can be honest with yourself. That's what matters at the end of the day. Like, you got to be real with you, no matter who comes and goes. Support system. Be the garden. Because a lot of us are just holding the, a lot of us got tools, like they got what they call it, the hoe. You just got the hoe in your hand, you digging up everything. That's all you've been doing. That's what a lot of these elders and a lot of people been doing. They've been out there tilling the land. Everybody out there been tilling the land. Tilling the land, digging up the dirt, blood, sweat, and tears. And truthfully, a lot of them, they may have certain things to show for it, but deep down, when you look at that soil, and when you see how they've been working their ass off, working hard, and a lot of their harvest, when you look at their harvest, their fruit doesn't reflect true prosperity, authenticity. I don't know that verse where it says judge a man by his fruit, but their fruit. And what I mean by that, when you look at elders and people, I mean their fruit, metaphorically speaking. It's like when you look at their kids, when you look at the land or certain things that they built, their corporations, their business, the company, literally the company they keep, or more so the business. When you look at their business, this reflects them spiritually, mentally, emotionally, who they're investing their time in, what they're investing their energy in, what they're supporting. And it literally will show you all the structural racism. Like, what tells you support system supports that? When I look at a lot of these people and their generations and their lineage, that is their support system, where they're just literally supporting people that just look like them. I ain't mad at you, but when them tables fucking turning, when you see them tables turning, yeah, it'll show you. It'll reflect back to you that you can't outrun karma, because this reflects your support system. Your company you built, you claim and proclaim to have built. Ain't nobody judging people's success, but the success that y'all think ain't rooted in integrity. So when I say support system, make sure your support system is rooted in authenticity. I had to realize a while back how I realized a lot of people was weeded out because they did not reflect integrity. And that support system wasn't for me, no matter how much I wanted to hold on to through my own selfish attachments, through my own wounded ego. I realized a lot of these companies that aren't empowering the well-being for all involved, for people that are darker. When you look at these corporations, these establishments, all of these things are being exposed all across the board, because energy don't lie. baby girl, baby boy. Nothing can be hidden. So when I say support system, y'all can't hide who you are no more. And this ain't even about color to the depths of it. Energy don't lie. You'll be able to see clearly. Not even just see. You'll be able to see with a spiritual eye. Again, if that man and woman don't know the importance of their emotional well-being, and literally you can see like what type of support system and so forth that reflects that, do yourself justice and rid yourself of that. Because again, you'll be able to see the fruits of these people. You'll be able to see the fruits clearly. And a lot of it, when I say they've been tilling the land and there's blood on their hands and even blood in the roots of their fruit, it's wickedness in the root of their fruit. You over there biting the apple, you over there want to, join this and jeopardize your morals and principles for some fruit that's fucking rotten, that's impure. Ain't nothing righteous about it. Support system. And you wonder why a lot of this stuff crumbling. Because it was never a support system that honored the Creator or the Most High, that valued people in all walks of life. Support system that supported our kids, their well-being, their emotional well-being, their physical well-being. Call it out. Call a spade a spade. Look like a duck, quack like a duck, a fucking duck. I ain't mad at what's going on. Because I said I can sit back and see the greed. I can sit back and see the people. And all of a sudden, I sit back and pay attention like, oh, wow. I wonder why this shift is happening. Y'all ain't even paying attention. Where people didn't feel like they didn't want to give back the land or certain things. And some people realize why certain things are happening where, unpaid property taxes, unpaid things, certain things where y'all don't even realize the monetary system that reflects the fact of a support system that doesn't value the people, humanity. So, okay, so the Most High gonna bring judgment. The Creator gonna bring judgment upon people. Whether it's through, whether you want to call them plagues or the wrath of the Most High, or you want to call it the wrath of God. This is spiritual retribution happening. I'm telling y'all something that you won't get nowhere else. This is spiritual retribution, divine retribution, judgment, and justice at hand. Because everyone has an opportunity to do right by you first. And then you knowing that you can do right by someone else. And when I mean right, I'm talking about righteous, be upright. Even when your colleagues, family, people, career, music, whatever it is, industry, all that stuff y'all in, come on now. There is something new above the sun. You'll see it. It's happening. It's unfolding. And it is what it is. This ain't about emotion. It ain't personal. But I sit back and observe and see, those with eyes, those with the spiritual eye, or those that are aware can see exactly what's happening. This is a celebratory moment. This shit is exciting. When you being able to pay attention and be able to be aware and not panic, you be like, look, this is something that some may say, this ain't nothing new under the sun. But there are things that the world has never seen in which you see. Like it's amazing. There are things that are gonna look familiar. But keep your head on the swivel, keep your head above water, breathe, be aware, recognize the it's been very challenging when I realized, like, who is my village? Who is my my village? They say it takes a village to raise a child. I'm literally seeing, like, you will be brought to places you'll realize, don't question where you are. You are there to see what a village or a community or a country or a place isn't. Just so you can realize, for some of you, what to build, what to create, what to expound on, what to rid yourself of, where the divine is literally finna uproot your ass and replant you. literally replant you for the betterment of you and all involved, for your divine protection. Because your support ain't their support. Be aware, because their support, I'm telling you, it ain't what you perceive it to be. So, again, take care of yourself. Remember, you are the garden. We in the garden. Peace and blessings. Shalom.